Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Is that going to be okay? That I'm literally in my bedroom because Cash is in the office doing his Zoom. Enzo's on the other. Everybody's all over doing Zoom.
Well, we're like leaning into reality right now. So thank you for sharing your reality with us.
Oh yeah, in my bedroom.
Right. And it looks great. Although I did like your wall of books the other day.
Oh,
Of your
good.
poetry reading. That was really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And very appropriate.
Mm.
So it looks like some people are joining us, which is so nice. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm Paula Chaikin, Director of Outreach for Studio B, which offers mindfulness training for businesses and individuals. And I'm honored to be here with my friend, actress Annabeth Gish, in the final interview as part of our series on resilience and steadiness, designed to offer tools to cope with COVID-19. Before we begin, I'm going to remind all the participants that you'll be muted and that we're being recorded. And there'll be time for questions at the end, which you can enter into the chat. And now to introduce Annabeth Gish, and this is quite a lengthy and impressive bio. Wow. So Annabeth is a uniquely gifted and beloved actress with a diverse background in film and television, dating back well over 30 years. She first gained the attention of critics and moviegoers when she was 13 in the feature film Desert Bloom. She went on to star in the acclaimed feature Mystic Pizza, opposite Julia Roberts. Her expansive list of film credits includes Double Jeopardy, SLC Punk, Hiding Out, Wyatt Earp, Nixon, Beautiful Girls, The Last Supper, Coup de Ville, Shag, and Steel with Shaquille O'Neal. Annabeth's past television credits include the hit series Pretty Little Liars, The West Wing, and her beloved role as Monica Reyes in the iconic hit series The X-Files, as well as the award-winning Showtime series Brotherhood, Sons of Anarchy, and the Netflix hit series The Haunting of Hill House. Annabeth is set to star opposite Hamish Linklater and Zach Gilford in Mike Flanagan's upcoming Midnight Mass for Netflix, and recently shot a leading role in the independent features Quiet in My Town and Stay at Condor Beach, both of which we hope will be released later this year, and you can tell us a little more about that in a bit.
Okay.
She can currently be seen in Quibi's #FreeRaySean opposite Lawrence Fishburne and Stefan James. Gish is a graduate of Duke University, where I was lucky enough to share a freshman hallway with her. She currently resides in Los Angeles with her husband, Wade Allen, their two sons, Cash and Enzo, who'll be graduating from 5th grade this year, and their family dog, Brody. She spends her free time writing, reading, hiking, and practicing yoga. Wow. You sure are busy. But I imagine you're not busy right now. So tell me what you're doing during COVID-19 and how it's affected you both personally and industry-wide.
Well, first of all, thank you, Paula, for that introduction. And I'm just basically at a constant baseline of high emotionality these days. I'm sure we all are in these sort of uncharted times.
Yes.
So if you see me welling up with tears, it's because I see your face and you look exactly the same as you did when we were in college together, however many years ago.
Sweet. Thank you.
And but to address your question, oddly, it has been a busy time and a not busy time. And I think we can all talk, I hope, a lot about the duality, because when we were talking about mindfulness, there's a lot of mindfulness in our lives, or my life. I know all of us who are here certainly must try to cultivate that. But there's a seeming also mindlessness that is happening today. For me, it's very hard to kind of in this Groundhog Day reality to really locate myself, to measure my productivity. I mean, I'm sure busy as hell, cooking more than I've ever cooked before,
Yes.
doing dishes more than I've ever done, laundry, like all of those things, running a household because everyone is quarantined. um, I find that I'm busy, and there are a lot of ways to be busy. Um, Professionally, I've been very fortunate because I'm also doing some voiceover work, which I am able to do from home now. It's been a
Did
challenge.
we hear you for the first time on the during the Super Bowl? Wasn't that commercial unveiled for Cadillac?
No, I haven't had a Super Bowl commercial yet. One day, maybe. No, this was the first one for Cadillac aired, I think, during the Oscars. So
Oh, I knew it was something big.
yeah, something special.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing you in it or
But
hearing you.
that has been a whole pivot point, and having to learn a whole new lexicon of um, like educating myself on, Wade had to change a closet of our home into a sound booth. And I had to download all of the sound, the applications, which I'm not technically astute.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you've got two youngsters who can probably help you out.
Yeah, but this is some pretty complicated stuff. And my nickname around the house is a Decepticon. Like, my kids, literally anywhere I go, I like to think that it's because my magnetic field is so charged. But
yes, definitely. Your energy.
yeah. But you remembered with Jessica Bayless, our other very good college friend, she was the computer.
Yes, she was.
Perfect genius. So I've been doing a lot of voiceover stuff, and I've also been able to utilize the time to polish my first screenplay, which is an adaptation, which you know about, right? Yay! You're going to be my consultant to shoot in Philadelphia. Or Pennsylvania. Yep. And so I've been able to be productive. But, again, I know for all of us, there's a little bit of mania surrounding it. Like, how productive should we be? How surrendering should we be? It's just such that, again, I'm just living in a constant state of duality.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all are.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like you've embraced the duality. And it also sounds like you're being way more productive than most of the people I know. So
no, but I want to make sure that everybody, because that sounds like it's so, I've sure been binging a lot of Netflix, and, there are lots of unproductive moments, Yeah. There was, someone had just posted, in fact, my yoga teacher posted something yesterday. I'll find it, but it was, and I know Louise Erdrich has another. Oh, I know. So it was Claudia Pincola Estes who talks about how women, especially, I don't know if there are any men in our conversation today or not, but women especially, we have this sort of agreement to do all of these things, the chores.
Right.
And I know we all cultivate helpfulness in our male family members. But it's still like, sometimes we have to let the laundry and the dishes sit so that we can go meditate or practice yoga or take a walk. Those things that I find to be essential,
Absolutely. And napping. I've been a big napper.
Napping, right? Like, there has been a beautiful element to this pause.
Mm-hmm.
I know you, through watching your Facebook feed and whatnot, I mean, when will we ever have this time with our children,
Right.
I mean, and our spouses. I mean, we're all going crazy with each other, but there's also just this tremendous gift that comes with, I get to look at my 13-year-old and say, wow, who are you becoming, instead of just carpool and drop off and sports. And it's like, we can really talk.
Yes, exactly. There are no shoulds right now. There's nothing we have to do except be together.
Yes, indeed. So nice. Yeah.
So nice. So it sounds like you are keeping up with your mindfulness practices, yoga and meditation. What are your favorites to stay sane right now?
Well, I have a standing yoga class that I take every Saturday morning with a teacher named Mary Beth LaRue. She's on Live Kick. And I know I've seen Studio B. You have also some online things as well.
Yes, we do.
But that's been my sort of mainstay for sure. I definitely every Saturday morning do this class. Every Friday night I have 2 Zoom hours with clusters of girlfriends.
Ah, that's so nice.
One is called the Coven, the other is called the Tribe. Very
Perfect.
yes.
I love that.
And that's been very sustaining for me. But I will say insomnia is at an all-time high.
Oh yeah, I hear
I
that.
I keep waking up, in the middle of the night and, feeling the heaviness and feeling the uncertainty and the economic unknowns. And, I, I don't even want to talk politically, but I am, I try not to watch the news so much because it is so amplifying every inch of stress and
Right.
misinformation. And so I usually I was, before this, I was kind of a CNN, I'll listen to NPR occasionally, but even that is just, the news is just an onslaught of stress inducing hell for me. So I try not to listen to it.
Yes, I feel the same way. And you keep coming back to the word duality, but we don't even know who to believe anymore. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Which if we think about it spiritually is an interesting time to really, then we can, because the parts are so disparate and so confusing and all, it's really a time where we can kind of find our own compass.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a workshop yesterday, which again, like, that's a beautiful thing. All of these amazing spiritual teachers are just having webinars, and
I know, isn't it fun?
it's wonderful. And this one particular woman was talking about yielding. And it's a word I would never really, I mean, I think about relinquishing control, or I think about surrendering, but I've never thought about the word yielding. But I'm working with that, like yielding to the resistance,
Mm-hmm.
softening,
So nice.
softening.
Yes, lots
Yeah,
of softening.
lots of softening. And it's hard.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, because it's not what we usually do, right? We're usually running and busy and achieving and
Yeah.
helping our children achieve, and suddenly we're not.
Well, Paula, do you think then, in your experience, that that you will take this and integrate it into your life once if there will be I don't like the term the new normal, because it's so just, I don't know how to measure that, but what is normalcy? And I don't like the word normal, I guess is my point. But do you
Right,
think
I
moving
agree.
forward you'll integrate these
Um,
practices?
I'm not sure. I'd really love to be able to hike with my kids every day, which is basically what we're doing. And we have a family dinner every Friday night now, which
Yeah.
we've never been able to do before because we were running to baseball and school dances and performances like you and probably a lot of the people on this call. But what a blessing to have it right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to appreciate it right now and trying not to think about what's next because that gives me a stomach ache.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What's now? Yes, yes. Right now, this is what it is.
Yep.
This is what it is.
So you were talking about some of the webinars that you've been a part of. As you know, Studio B has been offering them for the past 8 weeks on resilience and steadiness. And I love the story about when you were a little girl, your resilience that showed up then. You wrote to the actress Lillian Gish, no relation, for advice about becoming an actress. And she actually wrote you back and said, don't do it. And I can't believe she did that. And even more than that, you said, nope, I still want to be an actress. So you found the resilience to go against her advice. And how's that same strength and spirit showing up for you today?
Mm. Well, first of all, I love the words resilience and steadiness that you guys are. Those are just poetic, meaningful, weighty words. I don't know if it was resilience at a young age. I think it was just sort of blind ignorance. Now, after 30 plus years of being in the business, I can for sure say that I have cultivated I'm resilient AF, you know,
yes.
because, and I really think that it's not just the entertainment field, because if you're a medical, if you're a doctor, if you're a ad agency, if you like, even, I mean, yoga teachers, we all have to be resilient, because it's just life.
Right.
The knocks come, you know. I think what helped me then in terms of resilience was just having a passion, a committed passion that kept returning.
Mm-hmm.
And I can absolutely say many times that resilience or that passion has depleted itself and been completely absent. And then that's when you kind of take a look, step back, take a look elsewhere. And then if the passion returns, then you stay in the game.
Well, as someone who's followed your career, I have never seen your passion wane. So,
well, you haven't. Well, no, that's not true, because I remember I was at Duke one year when I got, it was between me and another person for a very big movie, and I didn't get it. And there have been those very like, humbling, painful failures, right? That's the wrong word, but yeah, disappointments. Yeah.
But
So
you went back, but you kept going back.
yes.
And there's that resilience.
Maybe I'm a fool. I don't know.
No,
I just really like, for me, being an actress is part of being an artist, and connecting with people and trying to be of service in the sense of exposing our humanity as flawed and beautiful as it all is, messy.
Yes, very messy.
Yeah.
So for those of us who don't have the wherewithal to do much more than watch TV or take a nap,
yes,
do you have any binge watching suggestions, especially if they're Annabeth Gish movies or TV shows?
Oh, well, I can't, I'm not a comedic actress, unfortunately. I wish I was more of one.
Yeah, you do more heavy stuff.
Most of the things that I've been in have been very dramatic and intense.
Yeah.
I know personally for us, we have, as a family, binged Arrested Development and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, we like those too.
Great, like fun. Oh, okay. Melanie says Free Ration. Oh yeah, Free Ration. That's
on our list to talk about, Melanie.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's a great one, especially I think it's very relevant right now.
Yeah.
We are, as a family, obsessed with the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Which has been, I was kind of reticent because I'm not a whatever, but it's just a fascinating story. It's and so well done.
Yeah. 10 hours of basketball documentary seems like a lot. We have not tackled that one yet.
Like I said, I was reticent, but it's so compelling on a human level and ambition, and it's good. Yeah.
And then for those of us who do have the bandwidth to read, what are you reading right now? And what would you recommend?
I'm reading my face off, especially at I usually read from 2 to 4 in the morning.
You could text me, I'm up.
Okay, good. Oh my gosh, I have, I just finished reading Sue Monk Kidd's book, The Book of Longings, which is
It's beautiful.
Oh my God, it's just, I couldn't stop. It was beautiful. I read all sorts of things. And now because I'm so into her right now, I'm reading her old book called When the Heart Waits. It's Spiritual Directions for Life's Sacred Questions. I'm looking at it. It's on my floor. I don't want to show you my room because books are not very well organized. But what else have I been reading? I'm reading a book now called, have you read Circe?
Oh my goodness, that was magnificent.
Yeah, so I'm very much into that. And then another older book that it's very dense, but it's beautiful. It's called The Luminaries.
I don't know that one.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Cersei is becoming an HBO series. I hope you get it.
Okay. I better call up on that one.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So to shift a little bit, you talked already about pivoting. IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database, describes you, I just love this, quote, a versatile actress, Annabeth Gish, weathered the transition from child actor to adult with a variety of dramatic and comedic roles on film and television, end quote. So all of us are having to pivot right now and embrace new roles and new realities. Can you speak to how you've been able to grow and change with an industry that's not usually kind to women?
Well, first of all, I have been trying to change that freaking IMDb.
No,
I hate that word. I hate the word weather. She's weathered. Like, it sounds like, first of all, it sounds like leather. And
I think it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. I know. I appreciate you twisting shifting the lens for me on that. But my reaction really kind of reveals how, yes, and because that seems sort of like a derogatory aging term in my mind. I think it's a very 10 years ago, that might have been this might have been a different conversation, but I think what's happening right now, industry-wide, culturally wide, it's a great time for women. And I think it's a great time to be, I'm 49, I'll be 50 next year.
Next March.
Gulp. But I think it's a really empowered time to be an embodied woman of a certain age as we're maturing, because, yes, there's this whole like TikTok culture and the Kardashian culture. And I don't disparage any of that, because everything needs to exist in this realm, and we find our place what space we want to occupy. And we also can be like duality in ourselves. Like, we can talk about lipstick and fashion and mindfulness in the same, you don't have to just be a crunchy yoga vegan to also talk about lip gloss.
Right.
So I do think in terms of pivoting, and women are craving stories about ourselves, and now we have the platforms to do it. Hulu, I mean, there's so many. Lifetime has become like there's no, everybody wants stories about 40 to 50-year-old women. Yay. And real women. I think, people are even, there was the phase of like Botox and all of that, which again, I don't mean to disparage, but it's nice to see women looking like women, real women. I mean, I can't lie. I have the little Zoom filter on, do you guys have that?
I don't have one. I need one.
Oh, you just, it's like a little setting you go into on Zoom, and it's a little hack where it like softens all the edges.
Oh, I love that. I'll have to try it next time.
Okay, good.
But you always look fabulous. Oh. And I saw you in person last year, and you looked absolutely the same.
I know. And you and your son, it was so nice to see you both.
That's great. So you spoke about some of the characters that you've played, these full and amazing and multi-layered real women, Special Agent Monica Race on the X-Files, Anne Sullivan on Pretty Little Liars, and of course, Pudge from Mystic Pizza.
No, that was Shag. Pudge was Shag.
No, Pudge was Mystic Pizza. No. Pudge was Shag.
Pudge was Shag, and Cat was Mystic Pizza.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. They're very similar movies.
Yes. Yeah, well, they were my era with you. So,
yes.
So who are some of your favorite characters, and what did you learn from them?
That's a great question. A show that I was on in, let's see, it was it was like right around when Cash was born, so 2007. When was he born? It was a show called Brotherhood, and I played. It was a short-lived 3-season show for Showtime, and I played a character named Eileen Caffey, very flawed, but it was a very so Valerie, yay! I know only a few people have seen it. It's kind of obscure, but it was what I loved the most about playing this character was that she was flawed, she was complicated, she was real and vulnerable. And I love, yes, I mean, like playing Anne Sullivan, Dr. Sullivan on Pretty Little Liars was glamorously exciting because the fashion was amazing and it's very slick and so many young women love that show. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's really the characters that you get to kind of get into the meat and the bone and the marrow of some, you know, because none of us are perfect, right? We all have our dark moments, our bad moods, our rages or whatever. And so I very much learned a lot from playing that character about the joy of just being real, you know? Great. Yeah.
That's great. So right now, well, for people who don't know, Quibi is an app you can download, and it has very short episodes of original shows. And right now we can see you in Quibi's #FreeRaySean, and you are the no-nonsense, tough as nails Detective Lincoln. Wow, that's the adrenaline rush. I literally like had my boys next to me. I'm like, I don't think I can finish watching this.
Yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about filming this intense series?
I would love to. We shot it about a year ago in New Orleans. And it was, you know, this new platform created by Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman, two powerhouses, right? Entertainment and Silicon Valley. They created this platform that is very, very much so not optimal right now. It was a platform built for, because it's only available on your phone.
Right.
And it's Quibi stands for Quick Bites.
Oh, okay.
So it's all 10-minute episodes, morsels, as they say, of entertainment, so that you could watch it on the train or watch it in an Uber or watch it on the bus. Well,
I actually think it is ideal for right now.
Because
people, I know I don't have much space in my mind for watching a long episode.
Interesting.
But like the 10-minute piece was good. And then like go and do something else.
Yeah, great. Okay, good. Well, I mean, okay, good. Oh, but you know, the only problem for me is that you can't screen mirror it.
Right.
Which sucks because we're all home.
Yes.
But you know, who am I to criticize Jeffrey Katzenberg? the experience, I loved filming this show because it was so intense. Mm-hmm. Lawrence Fishburne, working with Lawrence, who clearly comes with this mantle of, you know, he's one of the most prolific actors. He's a very tall, striking man, and he is one of the nicest, consummate professionals I've ever worked with, which that's always such a relief when you see a big star and you're working with them. He was generous. He was present. I've never seen anyone more prepared, you know, just kind of old school work ethic and just bringing it. And it was very inspiring to work with him. And the show itself has such a highly charged, relevant racial issue that, you know, is sadly pertinent today.
Right.
So you felt that kind of kinetic. You just knew. We shot it just like a regular production. You know, we were there for 3 months, and the only difference was the script, in that, you know, everything had to be kind of divided into 10-minute episodes.
Right. Yeah, it was really intense. If anybody's looking for a good watch, wow. So you've touched on this, but it's essentially about racial inequality and injustice. Are you able to choose projects that speak to your values?
Mm. Uh, yes, I certainly can say no
Mhm.
to some things that don't. Um, but I'm not in the position where I'm saying, like, I'm just offered all of these things and here you go. Nope, maybe next year. Um, but no, I think part of having built a career over time and still enduring, yeah, I definitely, if there's something that doesn't resonate with me, I'm like, nope, it has to be worth my time and my energy away from my children and my family.
Right.
Um, and it has to be, creatively an additive in my life rather than depleting.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a good for all of us, right?
indeed.
We
Yeah.
should all be able to choose things that build us up.
Enhance. Yeah.
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 Um, so you bring some of your values or much of your values to your volunteer work with the Unusual Suspects Theater Company. And I'd love for you to tell us about what you do there and what the nonprofit does and why you chose it
Mm.
and how it's been affected by coronavirus and what we can do to help.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Um, yes, I've been involved with this organization. It's a local company that brings theater programs into underserved youth in populations that are economically challenged, and also into um, juvenile detention centers and places where people are really acutely in need of arts
Mhm.
without sort of the pretentiousness of an art program.
Mhm.
So it's really grassroots. It's really in the field. I love it. I love it because it's not like we are the work that they have a staff of people, actors who go into these centers and work 6-week, 8-week, 12-week programs, either through the school or in the detention centers, and really make a difference because they're teaching youngsters who might not have an emotional vocabulary or an artistic vocabulary to just be free enough to express themselves this way. And I find it to be just uh, so rewarding because you see, you know, arts really in action in the moment, making a difference.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so it has been very much obviously all of you know, it's a very hard time for kids who aren't in school, who aren't
Right.
getting food. You know, domestic abuse is up 400%, I think I read,
Wow.
is crazy. Um, so they're working to implement online options as well, but it's suffering, you know, and we're going to have a lot to do once schools get back, you
Mhm.
know, kind of triage.
Right.
It's hard to
Helping
have,
the kids process, right?
yeah, and it's hard to give access now for kids who don't have computers, and you know, and so yeah, so we're staying very active, and it's a big passion piece for me.
Yeah. So, well, we'll post some links about the
Yeah.
Unusual Suspects Theater Company.
You
I
know
really
what?
like. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, what's so much of usually whenever we go to the detention centers, the kids all start in a circle, and they're, you know, they have to give a number at the beginning of class on a scale of 1 to 10, like how check-ins, how do you feel?
Mhm.
And you know, it's like the kernels and the essential things of yoga, breathing, connecting, being present, stillness, just all of these tools um, that are, you know, it's just so profound to see them at work.
Do they come back at the end of the session and talk about how they feel?
Yep. There's a check-in at the beginning and a check-in at the end.
And just I hope that the number goes
Yep.
up.
Yep.
That's so
You know, sometimes some kids are like, I'm just a 4 today. It's not gonna change. This is where I am. And then they'll come back and they're like, no, I'm a 7. I
ah,
feel pretty good.
awesome. What
Yeah.
a gift. That's so nice.
Yeah.
And I love how you described it. The kids are in need of arts. I think we're all in need of arts, not just now, but always.
Mm, absolutely. Yeah, because just like the, you know, CDC well, I don't want to get political, but those programs were cut, and arts programs, funding for those have been severely cut as well. So,
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah. But we all need it.
we all
I've
do.
been painting rocks.
That's awesome.
Right?
I
I
love
just
that.
need some kind of outlet.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I think it's beautiful. Did you see that there was something on, I love the Instagram feed of Upworthy and Tank's Good News. Those are two like really positive platforms.
Yeah.
And I saw where some teacher missed her kids so much she knit little dolls of each
Oh,
of
I
them.
saw that. And they were so beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to really just, why not make
Right.
shit?
Right. Exactly. Create.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you've been creating, your upcoming projects.
Well, right before this all began, I was in Vancouver, literally, and flew back on my birthday because that was March 13th. That was when everything kind of started shutting down, right?
Yeah.
But that's a new project for Netflix called Midnight Mass that is by the same writer, producer, director team who did Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, good.
And it's I know, but you're not into horror, are you?
I don't do horror.
Yeah, that's okay. A lot of us
I'm
don't.
like, sorry, I can't watch this one.
You know who won't watch that is my like badass stunt coordinator, heli skiing husband. He
That's
will
really
not.
fun.
He does not watch any like horror at all.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But anyway, so this new project is really, I'm very excited about it. It's a sort of elevated psychological, religious horror.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's Butter.
Butter is a independent film that I did. I only play a small role in it, but it just got accepted into some, I think the ArcLight Film Festival. It's a very moving story about a teenager who's obese and who is going to eat himself to death.
Oh, right.
But through this whole social media thing, he finds the validity in his life. It's a transformative story. It was a novel, I think, first. Yeah.
You're very good on social media. Are you like, do you monitor what your kids do? Are they, have you learned from them? Talk to us a little about your social media presence.
My kids don't have social media.
Oh, good for you.
No, it is a battle, especially with my 13-year-old.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I worry about it, and for myself, and I'm a, mature, educated woman with critical thinking skills, but still I get sucked in and really have to fight the addictive nature of it. It's totally an addiction.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not for me, but I
for
see
people.
Tendencies. So we've been very diligent about, especially to our young men who are emerging in their sense of esteem and confidence, to not have that as a reference yet. But man, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and my older son does not understand it, and he's pissed, but we're just trying to hold steady for a while.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, Mom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I'm pretty much the vilified mom. But you're on social media. I'm like, it's a brand.
Yeah. I have to do this for work.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had a couple of independent movies, Stay at Condor Beach.
Yep, Stay at Condor Beach, which I don't know the status of that yet, but that was a kind of a interesting experimental film that was shot on film and no money, but I loved the role, and so I think I'm curious to see if it will end up in sort of an art house arena. And then a new movie that we just shot last November in Thomasville, Georgia, called Quiet in My Town, and it's, oh my God, it's such a special film that I
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really, it kind of covers all sorts of teenage angst issues, but in a beautiful, lyrical, human, spiritual way.
Yeah. Sounds like something you'd be involved in.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you foresee for the future with coronavirus and how it'll affect the TV and film industry?
Man, there, it's a challenge, right? Because what we do, um, we're all very intimate. We're in, confined
Right,
spaces, having intense scenes, not 6 feet away.
right.
There are crews of makeup and hair, and so I know everybody's trying to figure out how to do that safely. I know that they're starting to gear back up again, and I have to figure out how to make that work once we go back. But I think people are projecting kind of end of middle summer, July, maybe we'll be back up in production.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, but it is,
Safe.
it's scary.
It is.
I have to say, I'm concerned. I feel like even it's more concerning now because do we go out and expose ourselves? And what about the second wave? And are people being reckless? Or it's just so, I saw a picture of like an airplane that was, packed. It
Oh,
was,
wow.
there weren't any divisions in the seats. And you just think, I think I'll just drive.
Right.
I'll drive for 30 hours to Canada.
So I know that you are hoping to get into some directing. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, yes. I've optioned a YA novel that it's taken me a moment because I'm not exactly the biggest self-starter, but it's a novel by Lauren Wolk called Wolf Hollow, and it's a beautiful,
It's beautiful.
quiet film story. It's a quiet story about a young girl coming of age in Pennsylvania, and I think it has really relevant themes to today. And yeah, so I've finished my adaptation, and we're gonna
Oh, you did.
take it out, and sell it, and hopefully I'll be able to direct it next fall.
Okay. Well, we've got some barns for you.
I know, good. I'm not kidding. We're gonna shoot in your state.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
So we do have some questions in the chat, but before we do that, I wanted everybody to know how they can learn more about you and follow your work. So can you share all your handles with us?
Yeah. On Instagram, I'm Annabeth_Gish. On Twitter, I'm at Annabeth Gish. And then I think I have a professional Facebook page and then a private one as well.
Great. Well, thank you. Do you have a website?
I don't.
Oh, well, you need an actress website.
Do I though? I don't think so.
I don't know.
That's just one more thing I should be doing, but
We'll follow you on social media. Thank you.
Right.
So I wanted to get to some questions, and there are a few in the chat, and if other people have questions, type them in. So this one's from Christine.
Okay.
She says, as an actress, creativity and curiosity must be so important to you. It's almost impossible to be creative and curious and be anxious and overwhelmed. How have you been calling upon your creativity now? And what are you feeling most curious about these days?
I want to sink into that question because that's so good and so deep, and I feel that. I think one of the things about this time that's been really beautiful is I've been able to go and look at a lot of my journals.
Oh, nice.
And so, not in a narcissistic way, but I think all of us are kind of investigating the idea of memoir because we're all caught up. We've all been completely tripped up by this story that's happened to us. Suddenly we're all at home. Suddenly we're all locked down. So I think really trying to dig in, and again, it doesn't have to be a memoir per se, but what is my story? What do I want to say? What do I want my creative expression to be? moving forward, especially now, some of that has to come, I think, comes with age, right? Like, I don't like the word menopause because but I like, there's a book called Middle Pause. It's a beautiful book about women in our middle life, really taking the time to figure out what we want to say. And I'm kind of steeping in that. Now's a really beautiful time, I think, to investigate that creatively for all of us. And it doesn't have to be a book. It can be a painting. It doesn't have to be anything. It can just be a quality of committing to and embodying our essence.
Beautiful.
If that makes sense. Does that answer your question, Melanie?
Sorry, that was Christine. And then she also asked, what are you feeling most curious about these days?
Climate change, veganism. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but I, kind of, again, it's I'm curious about the science of what, like, what we eat. Somebody just sent me a book called How Not to Die. That's
a good one.
That's a good one, right? That's relevant. But I think I wish I could say I'm curious about something practical like gardening, but I'm not. I'm not a gardener. I wish I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm really just curious about what it's all going to look like after this.
Yeah.
And what will we be on the other side?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sarah asks about the magnetic fields you mentioned earlier. She said she runs batteries down like, whoa, what's up with that?
Well, I mean, whether you want to talk about like string theory or quantum physics, or does anyone know about Dr. Joe Dispenza?
I don't know.
He's quite a thinker and a motivator about how we can affect our cells and our microbiology just through our thoughts. And so, yeah, I totally believe that people can have, especially if you're a meditator, I think you can amplify your frequencies in many, many ways. And so yeah, of course you drain batteries because,
right.
Why not?
Right. We're all drained. Let's see. Who else had some questions up here? Deeta asked, what was something you did this week to make your life easier, happier, more efficient, or better?
Oh, I know Deeta. Hi, Deeta. What was one thing that I did this week? In the middle of the day, watched a film by myself in my bed here called Touchy Feely. That sounds very wrong, but no, that's never mind. I'm always bad with the setup, but it's this beautiful film by the filmmaker Lynn Shelton, who just passed away.
Oh yes, we know because we've been watching Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling with my boys, completely inappropriate, but it's beautiful, and she did such an amazing job, and then she just passed away.
Yeah, it's tragic, and I had never seen this particular. It's an indie Sundance darling film. I highly recommend watching it. It's about healing and energy, and it's so beautiful. And that to me felt like an indulgence to come in here, close the door, watch my kind of movie without having to check in with whatever everybody else wants. And that felt real. It felt like self-care.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Does sound perfect. Rachel asks, whose work inspires you right now?
Well, I'm a big Cate Blanchett fan. I always love her. I think she's so good. Tina Fey, I love Tina Fey. I think she's hysterical and funny and accessible and real. Who else? I'm trying to think. Gosh, there's so much happening. Not performance-wise, but I am a huge Brene Brown fan.
Oh, isn't she wonderful?
I love her podcast, Unlocking Us. I could listen to her all day. I think she's just and I did also read Glennon Doyle's book,
Oh, she's wonderful too.
Untamed. Yeah. Yeah. So those I've been very intrigued by those women.
We just had Phyllis Grant on this platform last week.
Yes.
Her book, Everything is Under Control, her memoir, it just came out. Have you read it yet?
I haven't, but I saw it on your website.
Oh my gosh. I'll send it to you. It was so fabulous and very short, like really readable right now.
Right. That's good. I think structures are changing. And Glennon Doyle talks about it, how even the format and the structure of her memoir, she didn't have to write it in sort of the patriarchal chapter 1, chapter 2 flow of narrative, so I think you're right. Like we can move things around.
Yep. So Melanie asks, she jokes, did you get a free Cadillac? And then she thanks you. Thanks for doing this. The quarantine life is grinding me down, but listening to this is very calming. I could listen to you forever. You have just such a beautiful voice.
Oh, well, oh my gosh. Thank you. I mean, not when I'm, raging at my kids or last night my husband and I it was right before bed and my husband said, I don't get it. This is the only thing about marriage I don't understand. We can be agreeing on the same thing, but we're still arguing. Like it's just perspective. Like, why are we arguing? Thank you. I agree. It is grinding. And I do think it's important to try to be calmative. I have not gotten a free Cadillac. I don't think they do that anymore. I just
you deserve one.
I'm pretty neither Wade or I are little fancy car people. I mean, I have a dog and 2 boys and I'm always carpooling, so I can't have a fancy car.
Right. How are your boys doing with all this? How are they weathering this experience?
Weathering. That's going to be like the title of my memoir, Paula.
There you go.
Weathering the storm.
There you
go. They're remarkably solid. I think they definitely miss their friends. It's a whole experiment in social isolation.
Right.
We're freaking like, I'm so sick of doing these birthday drive-bys. I hate the term drive-by, especially in California, but it's like, it's just, I'm really anxious to see people and I think they are too. And my younger child is a little bit more frustrated school-wise because he's, 5th grade and we drove by his school the other day and he was like, he's very dramatic. He said, I'll never walk those halls again.
And I can't believe he's dramatic.
Really?
His mom.
I wonder where that comes from.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's so interesting. I have 2 birthdays coming up. My 2 of my sons' birthdays are in June, and I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Virtual something or
I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess.
I did see a friend of mine, they live in New York, in upstate New York, and they had a remote pizza party and they tied string to the pizza box so that they could just pull the box to themselves, take a piece, somebody else could, so nobody touched each other, but they.
Oh, cute.
I know, yeah. Creative.
Yeah, you do what you have to.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dana asks, do you have an interest in any future theater projects?
That's a bucket list item for me for sure. I've never done professional theater.
Wow.
Yeah, not anything like I've never even done off Broadway. So that's definitely a goal. I feel like it's such a legitimacy piece as well. Like, you're really good and you're a real actor if you've been on stage. I grew up, that's where I started doing theater. Locally and at college, and I've done a couple of local performances here, productions here, but nothing professional. And so I would very much like to do that.
We'd love to see you.
Yeah.
I think we'll close with Valerie's question. She asks, if you could offer one piece of advice to everyone during these challenging times, what would it be?
Mm. I mean, it's such a simple thing to say, but really to be gentle with yourself.
Mm,
I think we all need to be gentle and to go easy and to not put pressure. You know, there's that, survive or thrive. Right now, we're all surviving.
right.
And so I think it's essential to be really, really gentle with ourselves and our spirits and the spirits of people around us.
Yes. Well, we can't thank you enough for being here today and sharing some of your interests and your wisdom. And we look forward to seeing you on film and television. And good luck to your boys.
Thank you. My goodness, it's my honor. Thank you for inviting me to this platform. And I certainly will go online and maybe take some of I've seen some yoga classes and everything. So
we have yoga and mindfulness, and you can just, our Resilience and Steadiness courses are actually all online the last 8 weeks. So you can check those out. Everybody can check those out. They're free. So
oh my God, what a beautiful offering. Yes.
Our founder, Jennifer Ciamboli, is very, very generous. And so we thought that was what we needed to do right now.
Well, I remember when you were just sort of aligning yourself with this path, Paula.
Yes.
And for people who don't know the details, like, I know we have to wrap it up, but I just, in my sort of gratitude to you, I met Paula probably my very first day at Duke, and we shared a freshman hallway, and we've been friends ever since. And I mean, you were always just one of the most interesting, literary, smart, peppy, right? Peppy is a word for Paula. But you're, such a good mom too. I see it in your sons.
Yes, thanks. They're good boys. I'm very, very lucky. Well, thank you. Keep up the good work with your boys, and
Thank you.
love and miss you.
Thank you to all. Everybody be well.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Paula.